Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It's only a few hours until match day and tonight I will be live here on GBFC. So make sure you got the bell notifications turned on. Make sure you are subscribed to the George Benson football channel. And whilst we're at it, I know there's only a couple of hours until the game, but can we get 2,500 likes before kickoff on this match preview? Chelsea go to West Ham. Both teams have won one of their last 5 games in the Premier League. Chelsea have struggled in this fixture in recent times. We usually go to the Olympic Stadium and West Ham turn it on. They're not having a good season, but last week against Newcastle, they got a good draw away from home. Declan Rice putting in a stunning performance again. We're used to seeing this now. And Chelsea have got players ready to come back from injury. Unfortunately, there's going to be no Denis Zakaria, no Mateo Kovacic. Those are the two key ones. Wesley Fofana is still not ready as well. And of course, N'Golo Kante is still not fit. However, going into this game, I'm weirdly confident. And I think it's because I feel as though Chelsea are just due a good performance. I know that you've got to be in good form. You've got to somehow let things click. There's a lot of new players. It's not necessarily going to gel and click straight away. But I've got a funny feeling today we show up. It's an early kickoff, which normally means that we don't do very well. I think we've not won any of our last 8 matches on BT Sport in the UK with the lunchtime Saturday kickoff. So it's not looking good. The omens aren't good for Chelsea in this game. However, the team is starting to come together now. We're on the tail end of this horrifying run of injuries, which has hampered our season beyond belief. When you think about how many players Chelsea have had out injured, to be in 9th place in the Premier League table isn't really a surprise based off of the fact that we've not had a full strength team at all season long. So with players slowly coming back from injury, with the momentum and the excitement around the training ground, we've seen some great videos coming out of the training ground this week of MUDRYK, Mason Mount, Enzo, João Felix all shooting and scoring in training. I think it's because we don't see Chelsea score often enough on the pitch that the media team have just been like, right, we've got to see, people have got to see Chelsea players actually hitting the back of the net. But today, I do think we'll score. I think we'll score a couple, and I think we get a big win away at West Ham United. Let me know in the comments down below what your starting 11 is. But mine, we begin with the goalkeeper. Kepa is the keeper. I think Kepa recently, low-key, has been praised a lot more, and I think he absolutely deserves it. People almost don't want to praise Kepa too much because of all the things that we've had before. The awful season a couple of years ago. But Kepa's been pretty phenomenal for us recently, to be fair. The game against Fulham, a couple of big saves to basically earn Chelsea a point in a game where going forward we were poor. But we move into a back four. And for me, this is the strongest area of Chelsea's team right now, with the goalkeeper included as well. Reece James, Thiago Silva, who has just signed a new deal. And funnily enough, that happens to be on the day where I don't put the painting up behind me. But he's there. He's still chilling behind me. He'll be there for the live stream. Thiago Silva signs a new contract extension. This is massive news for Chelsea. When you look at how good Badiashile has been since he's come in, a lot of that is down to Thiago Silva. Having him as a mentor to play alongside is invaluable experience for a player like Benoit Badiashile. Ben Chilwell is also back in there. There's a lot of rumours at the moment about Manchester City being interested in Ben Chilwell. I don't think this is going to be any kind of issue for the way that Chilwell performs for Chelsea. There's going to be a lot of questions about whether or not Man City will even be able to sanction a signing like this, and it's going to cost them a hell of a lot of money. As I said in the last Chelsea news video, this back four, what we get here is, in my opinion, Chelsea's most solid defensive back four, as well as potent attacking. Reece James putting the crosses in. And as you see, who I've gone and picked as we move up the field, we might even have a proper striker playing today to be able to finish these chances. We move into a midfield pivot of Enzo Fernandez and Conor Gallagher. I think what we got here is energy, tenacity. And I think Gallagher has been, as much as he keeps on working super hard for the team, I think he's been a bit too erratic. And obviously, throughout the course of the last week or so, I've been saying that Mason Mount shouldn't be starting because performances haven't been good enough. And as much as he's been scapegoated for massive criticism amongst the Chelsea fan base, I don't think it's fair necessarily to blame Mount for everything. I think a lot of the issues potentially with contracts off the field is definitely hampering him. I think sometimes with Connor as well, I've picked Connor in this position because if we're going to play a midfield 2 with a front 4, as you'll see in a moment, I think there's more balance here. And I think between Enzo and Gallagher, there's enough industry going forward, as well as being able to sit in front of the defence the same way that Enzo Fernandez did last week. It would have been Mateo Kovacic in this team if he was fit and ready to play. He's been back in training, but Graham Potter said he's not going to be ready for this game today. So I think the patience that we're going to have to unlock that more progressive, creative side of Enzo Fernandez's game, we might have to wait for that one again. But I've put him alongside Conor Gallagher today in a midfield 2. And I've gone with an incredibly exciting front 4. MUDRYK has recovered from his cold, so he's in there. João Felix in the 10. Madueke starts on the right after what was a very good debut last week. And David Fofana, I'm giving this man a run up front. I don't think anymore can we see Kai Havertz there. I think we saw some link up between João Felix and Havertz in the game away at Fulham before he got the red card, and since then we've had 3 games without him. We saw a good link up there, so part of me does think today Graham Potter will just go and put Kai Havertz up front with João Felix playing behind him, and you'll probably see the 2 of them interchange. Havertz will drop a bit deeper, then Felix will drop a bit deeper, and the other one will get forward. I think there is a lot of interchangeability with this Chelsea front 4. I think you've got the dynamism of Madueke, who's more than happy to hug the touchline, but he's also happy to come inside, collect the ball, take it back out wide. You're going to have the overlaps of Reece James, Ben Chilwell on that left-hand side as well. And I think today, in terms of the excitement, obviously we're all super excited to see João Felix back in the Chelsea shirt. To me, there's absolutely no doubt that this man starts this game today. But I want to see Fofana given that chance up front. I think we've seen videos of him in training. He's obviously working very hard. He's in there. And I think David Fofana just gives us something more to aim for. I think with Kai Havertz, I've quite often said about the way he jumps. Yes, he does score headers, but sometimes it looks as though he's about 1.5 seconds behind the cross, which is why Chelsea don't really see the fruits of any labour of getting balls into the box and then scoring from crosses. We don't do it often enough because it's often far too pedestrian. I think what we have with this front line, 2 players out wide who are more than capable and more than willing to cut inside. And I think with Felix being there, as a number 10, it is his preferred position. I think we've got to try now and start getting the best of players playing in their natural positions, which is why I have picked David Fofana over Kai Havertz today. So when you look on the bench, we've still got people to come back. Still no Kovacic, still no Zakaria, still no N'Golo Kante. The midfield is looking razor thin despite the Enzo Fernandez signing. But for some reason, I think this is going to be an entertaining game today. As I said at the beginning, make sure you go and get ready for the live stream. I'm going to be live 45 minutes before kickoff, all the way through to the end of the game. And then 6 Things We Learned will be released straight after the match. As soon as I finish the stream, I start recording. I just think there's going to be goals in this game. Even though it could sometimes be a bit slow, being that early kickoff on a Saturday, it's a London derby. West Ham, they need to sort their form out. They're not out of the mire yet when it comes to the bottom of the table. A couple of good results in recent weeks, but Chelsea are also desperate. And I think Chelsea are not just desperate for a result, but I think the onus is on bringing a bit of entertainment because it's been so boring to watch Chelsea. Last week, all of the excitement of seeing Enzo Fernandez. That was the only exciting thing about Chelsea's performance last week. Enzo was good. Other than that, there was nothing to shout about. And I've just got the feeling that it might actually benefit Chelsea, even though we don't do very well away at West Ham in this fixture at this stadium. I think it benefits Chelsea to be away from home without the pressure of Stamford Bridge crowd being restless. So my score prediction, I think West Ham will score, but I think Chelsea win this game today by 3-1. Let me know what you think of this. Is this very bold to suggest that with only 2 league goals in our last 6 games, is it bold to predict that Chelsea will score 3? Is it even bold to predict that Chelsea will win the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. We have got to start winning. If there's any hope of top 4, we can't keep waiting until next week. We can't get a result next week. We have to win, and we need to start winning game after game after game. there will also be an eye on that massive Champions League game against Dortmund. So let's get the goals early. Let's rest a few players if we need to. Change the game up a little bit. Use the bench wisely. Mason Mount, inject him off the bench. I think this is where Mount could be the most useful for Chelsea right now. My goal scorers, João Felix gets his first goal. Enzo gets his first goal. And Thiago Silva scores away from home in a London derby. Again, let me know your starting 11 in the comments down below. As I said earlier, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss the stream. Hit the like button. Come on, you Blues.